Well, hello and welcome to week 5. We are halfway through our course. This week's work is the same as the previous week's, but we do have some items to cover. So, let's get started. Well, welcome to Professor Greer's This Week in the History of American Politics. This subject today is a direct challenge to the federal authority and enforcement not seen since post-Civil War Reconstruction, a challenge of states' rights and federal authority, and it was the first serious challenge to civil rights. As always, you guessed it, it's President Dwight Eisenhower ordering the National Guard to enforce racial integration of schools in Little Rock, Arkansas on September 24th, 1957. Since Eisenhower had taken office in 1953, several notable moments in the timeline of the Civil Rights Movement had occurred. First was the Brown v. Board of Education court case, the formation of white citizens' councils across the South, the murder of Emmett Till, the arrest of Rosa Parks, the Montgomery bus boycott, and the formation of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. During the initial stages of the crisis in Little Rock, President Eisenhower signed into law the Civil Rights Act of 1957. This is the first federal civil rights legislation passed by Congress since the Civil Rights Act of 1875. On September 2, 1857, Arkansas Governor Orville Faubus interrupted the I Love Lucy show on local television to announce that he had received reports detailing, quote, caravans of white supremacists bound for Little Rock with the intention of preventing integration at the Little Rock Central High School. In order to prevent blood in the streets, as he called it, he called out the Arkansas National Guard to preserve order. He stated that the state militia will act not as segregationists or integrationists, but as soldiers called to active duty to carry out their assigned tasks. Excuse me, on September 3rd, the next day, at a press conference, President Eisenhower stated, "I have been in contact with the Attorney General's office. They're taking a look at the situation. They're going to find out exactly what has happened and discuss this with a federal judge." Now, time and time again, a number of people, I among them, meaning Eisenhower, have argued that you cannot change people's hearts merely by laws. Laws are presumably express the conscience of a nation and its determination or will to do something. But the laws here are to be executed gradually, according to the dictum of the Supreme Court. This is in the Brown v. Board decision, and I understand that the plan worked out by the school board of Little Rock was approved by a district judge. On September 23rd, an angry mob of over 1,000 whites gathered in front of Central High School, while 9 African American students were escorted inside. The students entered the high school under protection of the Little Rock police and Arkansas state troopers armed with riot guns and tear gas. The crowd outside became very threatening and attacked 3 out-of-state news reporters. 3.5 hours after their entrance, school authorities thought it best to have police remove the African American students through a side door and sped them away to safety. Reporters described the crowds outside as, quote, hysterical. Little Rock Mayor Woodrow Mann sent a telegram to the White House and stated that the mob had gathered was no spontaneous assembly and that it was agitated, aroused, assembled by a concerned plan of action. After the summer vacation of that year, it was time for the new school year to begin on September 25th. The 9 students were escorted through the front doors of Little Rock, Arkansas again by more than 20 members of the 101st Airborne Division called out by Eisenhower. As the 9 entered the main entrance under the care of 22 men, an Army helicopter circled overhead. 350 paratroopers had surrounded the school's perimeter, and a crowd of white people outside the building chanted, 2468, we ain't gonna integrate. On September 26, Governor Orville Faubus appeared on television to address the people of Arkansas. He declared that, quote, we are now in an occupied territory. Evidence of the naked force of the federal government is here apparent, and these unsheathed bayonets in the back of schoolgirls. So, what were the political ramifications of racial integration in the schools in Little Rock? This event was a very significant source of the civil rights movement that included enforcement by the federal government. It would not be the last incident, but the die had been cast for educational integration. Unfortunately, racism became openly operated through the increase of activity of lynchings by the Ku Klux Klan. Okay, so now that we are in week 5, we're doing discussion 5 on the political parties 2. The discussions are to utilize the video lectures as the information for the discussions. Your thread should be at least 150 words. Remember that, please. Your student response should be at least 100 words. You need to remember that. Note, you only get a grade if your discussion has your original post and a student response. Your original post is not enough. You must respond to one student, okay? The rubric used to grade your discussion will be posted in the thread. Directions to take the discussion 5, go to the content folder, go to the content folder of your iLearn. Click week 5, start your thread, follow the directions, and submit when concluded. And like always, if you have any questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to contact me. Okay, so the textbook reading for this week is chapters 12 and chapter 14, and the quizzes that go along with them. The textbook readings for the course are all online and noted as Smart Book on your iLearn. When you complete the quiz at the end of the readings, you will automatically be rewarded with 30 points. Remember, you must complete the reading and complete the quizzes to be awarded the 30 points. And you're not graded on the quiz. You're graded in your participation of taking the quiz. So don't go halfway through the quiz and think, that's enough. It's not. You must complete the quizzes. Okay, to take the readings and the quiz in iLearn, which is your Blackboard, go to the content folder, go to week 5, click on the Smart Book reading, which is your textbook reading, and click on the chapters that you need to read, and read the chapters, then take the quizzes. I want you to think of the quizzes as the final exam study guide. Submit when concluded, and then when you submit and you pass the directions that's been laid out, you will automatically receive your 30 points. Okay, so you only have one video lecture to watch for this week's discussion, which is discussion 5. It is the overview history of the American party system. Remember, these video lectures are to be used as information for discussion 5. The textbook is not to be used as information for the discussion. Okay? And then be sure to follow the directions when you click on those on the video lecture. Just listen to it, and if you want to take notes, that's great. But you want the information from that lecture for you to comment on for your discussion. You should now be aware of the information and expectations of week 5. Good luck on your work this week. And as always, if you have any questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to contact me. And as for me, and I think you should too, Let's have a chocolate donut. All right, guys, have a great week.